name's Larry McGriff with Buske. I've been with the company about 4 years. I'm VP of Operations for the company, mainly over the support team for the company, IT department, marketing, stuff like that. We've been with ZethCon for about 3 years now using Synapse. Went from a completely paper environment world, green screen, to fully digital LP based with Synapse. And we're a 3PL company for mainly the beverage industry. So we house mainly empty containers for beverage industry, cans, glass, things like that, in bulk and in caseware. Also do a little bit with the automotive industry for sequencing. Been working with ZethCon for about 3 years. Started it about 6 months after the kind of process of looking for the software we wanted to go with. We started the implementation about 6 months after that, and we've been going through it for the last 3 years. We've got one more location to go, mainly just due to the size of the company and turnover and COVID and all that good stuff. Has made the implementation a little bit longer than expected. Nothing to do with the part of ZethCon or the software, really just due to the world of COVID and us as a company changing and growing, because we more than doubled since we started with Synapse and ZethCon. So it's been an interesting ride the last few years as a company. Yeah, I think working with ZethCon during the pandemic was, I really didn't notice a difference. We continued to run. In fact, we got busier during COVID than we were pre-COVID. Just added a lot of complexity to how we did business, though, just due to supply chain. That was really the biggest issue. But as far as working with ZethCon, I didn't really notice a difference at all. Everything was just business as usual. Yeah, compared to the software we came from, which was very paper-based and very manual, Synapse has helped us grow tremendously. Being able to automate a lot of processes that were manual. But I think the biggest thing is allowing us to run a more accurate inventory, so we're not duplicating work and we're not hunting for product, and we're shipping more accurately, receiving more accurately. That's probably been the biggest difference. Kind of an internal goal for me when we started was to be able to double the business with the same amount of workers, which sometimes is possible if you can automate enough. We didn't quite get there, but I think we were able to double the business with probably a 25% increase in workers. So that's still a pretty good return for us, I believe, due to the software helping us to automate our put-aways, our picking, and make things run a little bit more efficient. And honestly, I think we're probably still in what I would consider maybe a phase 1 and a phase 2 rollout in the automation with Synapse in our current processes. I think if we can get to phase 3 and phase 4, we can continue to grow without adding more heads, just by automating more processes. I think we're right around the 5 million to 5.5 million mark on square footage, around 25, 26 locations, with a couple more getting ready to come on board here before the end of the year, and then another one probably in Q1 next year. So just growing like crazy right now. And we've kind of made a footprint change in the warehouses that we've been doing. Before we went with Synapse, we were running smaller warehouses, probably under 200,000 square feet. And now that we have a software that can back up bigger facilities, we're running larger warehouses. So we've opened up multiple 300 to 400,000 square foot facilities. We even have a 1 million square foot facility out in California and a 760 down in Fort Worth, Texas. So we're able to run bigger facilities due to the software being better than what we were on before. Yeah, Synapse has helped us with the confidence of the customers. So I think they're more confident in our inventories and what we're able to present to them and show them, and how fast we can show it to them. Usually if they ask us for something, we can turn it around, if not instantaneously, within the same day, to give them the data that they're looking for. And then also demoing what we're able to do. A lot of our customers will run on their own systems and try to push that, and then we'll demo what we can do internally, and they'll kind of change their tune. There's still a couple of them that haven't quite jumped on board with that, but when they can see what our system will do versus what their system will do, and then look at the overhead that it'll cost for them to put theirs in versus what we can do, Synapse in our environment, it's a pretty easy choice to go with Synapse and let us just run our own system, and then just integrate with theirs, maybe via EDI or something like that. I think the biggest thing, or probably the thing that was the easiest, was the implementation consultant. Becky did a great job for us. And then now I think it's called our customer advocate, Crystal. She does a great job for us so far. We kind of switched between Becky over to Crystal, but that representative that you guys have kind of in the middle for us is a good advocate for us, and I think a good advocate for you as well, and it helps us to partner well. So that person there that we've had as a contact has been good. And then when it comes to programming issues or major things, Chipper's done great for us, helped us out on things and help us explain things. I guess the only thing that I would say is just make sure to test everything and test very thoroughly and apply that maybe against your business structure a little bit more, because we did have some changes that we did from initial implementation to about 3 months down the road, which had us kind of switch and redo some things. And maybe even coming to a user event like this that we're at today, and talking to some of the other customers of yours and seeing how they implemented and how they're running things would help before implementing ourselves and really setting a path that you may have to change after you get going. But it wasn't a major thing, and it wasn't due to the way Becky, the implementation consultant, explained anything like that. It was more of our lack of understanding of the software just at the beginning to 3 months down the road. We understood it more and were able to make a change and shift to a way that will help us to run kind of forever down the road versus temporary, because I've talked to a few people that have had to make changes, a little bit further down the road, which becomes more difficult. So it was good that we were able to see things early and make those changes early. So far, I think for me, it's kind of reaffirmed what we're doing is kind of the right path, and that we are on the right path with it. Had a couple things that I'm looking forward to on new versions that we're not quite to yet, so I'm anxious to get up to the current release so that we can get some of the new functionality that we're seeing. But it's definitely reaffirmed that we're on the right path with things and we're not doing things in a way that's going to cause us problems down the road. As far as any aha new thing, I haven't really, something that we haven't been doing right or something that we don't understand, I haven't quite seen that yet. But the new features that are coming, I'm anxious to see those, and it's good to kind of affirm that we're on the right path and we're not going to have issues down the road with the way we're operating. I would say definitely evaluate how you currently run and how you could potentially run and how you want to run, and then discuss that thoroughly with your implementation consultant or your customer advocate, just so you don't have to make a shift down the road. And I think adoption was easier than what we expected it to be. Once we started showing efficiencies within the staff, I think that was a little bit easier. But just understanding the software and how it can make your company better versus thinking, oh, this is the way my company should run, or I know the best way to run the company. Really discuss that with the implementation consultant, and because they know the software better than you do, especially at the beginning. Make sure you discuss that with them and make sure that the understanding of the business and the software has a really good, strong mix there at the beginning so that you set out on the right path from the beginning.